Hey everybody, you got Specs here, and today we're going to be talking about the UPDL Week 1 league matches. For those of you who don't know, UPDL is a draft league that I am hosting, and I'm just it's basically trying to serves as an introductory draft league towards like NAPDAC formats and or just draft leagues in general. So I got a lot of I got a lot of my friends who are maybe not necessarily new to Showdown or competitive Pokemon in general, but people who are just like want to get a little bit better at the competitive scene, I guess, and people who want more experience. So this is kind of a whole deal behind this draft league. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about two battles today, because we only have two battles per week, because we don't have a lot of people. But anyway, it's fine. So yeah, I'm just gonna be going over these matches, looking at what could be done better, whatnot, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So we're first going to start off with the Nevada Nahelegos, which is the back-facing side, versus the Prussian Pond Ducklets, which is the forward-facing side. So yeah, let's get right into it. So first off, we got to talk about leads. I think for the Nevada Nahelegos, maybe Alolan Ninetales could be a suitable lead at the beginning. It doesn't really perform too well against everything, but if you really want to get up Hail at the start, that could be nice for your Alolan Sandslash, which does do pretty well against the Depression Pond Ducklets, just due to how well it's typing and speed and everything kind of just do well. Because with Steel Ice and Earthquake, with Steel Ice and ground coverage, sorry. Although basically Earthquake is just the ground type in general. But yeah, with that coverage, you hit everything pretty much super effectively, and you can pretty much OHKO a good amount of these mons, just off the rip with Hail up. Because Gengar is going to die to Earthquake, I'm assuming. Unless it's some sort of bulky Gar. Cradily dies to, Triple Axle or Iron Head. Probably takes 2 hits, but still. Cradily can't do much back to the Alolan Sandslash anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Darm is slower than the Alolan Sandslash under Hail, assuming it's a Scarf Darmanitan Galar, and will die to Iron Head. Actually, I'm not sure if it dies, but it probably does die. Assuming like a boosting item on the Alolan Sandslash, I would have to guess. Now, Regieleki is faster than the Alolan Sandslash in Hail. So, assuming Regieleki is running a lot of speed. So, actually, Regieleki is a good matchup against the Alolan Sandslash, because you can at least, Volt Switch out and whatnot out on it and, do damage to it, and then switch it to something like the Araquanid, which also has good matchups against the Alolan Sandslash, due to the Alolan Slash not to be able to hit that thing very hard. Every, common coverage move, or common or stab coverage move that the Alolan Sandslash could run is going to be, resisted. And then Hippowdon is last. Hippowdon against Alolan Sandslash isn't great because that means you don't have Hail up, but it also, Alolan Sandslash does have a good matchup just if the Hippowdon switches in, because I'm pretty sure Hippowdon can live like a Triple Axle or whatever and then just kill it with Earthquake. So, yeah. But yeah, Hail, getting up Hail and trying to get up Veil immediately at turn 1 could be a good idea. Galvantula is also a decent idea just because you want to get up webs as soon as possible as well. That could be, in a day. That could be a thing. In terms of other leads, there's not really that many. I think Mudsdale could be okay, but you would have to worry about Scarf Darmanitan Galar, or just Darmanitan Galar in general. But, it does beat the Gengar and Regieleki leads, which could be what the Ducklets could go for. Yeah, so that's basically it on the Nevada Nahelegos side. In terms of the Depression Pond Ducklets, honestly, he can just pick whatever he wants. I think Gengar is the strongest possible lead turn 1. It's pretty threatening against everything on the Nevada Nahelegos side. Basically, the only things that don't immediately die to it are probably obviously the Mudsdale and the Nahelego. Maybe Galvantula can take one Specs. I'm actually not sure, but it might just die immediately too. But it could be Sash Galvantula to set up webs, so that could be an idea. That could be a thing that would prevent Gengar from being super threatening, especially if that Sash Galvantula has Thunder Wave or something like that. Wouldn't be too ideal. But yeah, Mudsdale and Nihilego would definitely be able to eat one hit from Gengar. I'm not too sure that Nihilego can probably kill Gengar if it's like Power Meteor Beam. And then Mudsdale, yeah, Mudsdale just definitely takes anything from Gengar and then kills it with Earthquake. So yeah, Gengar could be a decent lead though, because it definitely beats 3 out of 6 possible leads. With Shadow Ball, Sludge Wave, and Focus Blast. Although, of course, you have to risk landing Focus Blast, but 70% chance. Technically speaking, that's the right play. Let's see here. Regieleki could also be decent if you're not anticipating the Nevada Nihilegos to go for Mudsdale turn 1. You just can get free momentum with Volt Switch. Or if you predict them to go to Mudsdale immediately, you can immediately go to something like Darmanitan, and then that could put you in a really good position as well. Going to Darmanitan could be good, especially like for example, if you lead Regieleki on like a Alolan Ninetales, right? Switching to Darmanitan doesn't really risk you much because I'm assuming Alolan Ninetales probably doesn't have Moonblast. More often than not, it runs like it commonly runs Moonblast, but I don't know if he would bring it in this matchup, especially since there's the Gengar and a Araquanid. So, the reason why Araquanid is important for the lack of Moonblast is because more often than not, probably Alolan Ninetales only runs like one attacking move, and in this case, you'd probably just be bringing Freeze Dry because it hits the Depression Mountain Tuglet's side pretty hard, at least the left 3 here. So, yeah. Darmgalar also works as well if you're just like a Scarf lead. You just click U-turn, and it's very free. But you'll find out later on that it's not actually a Scarf than Galar. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, I talked enough. We'll just see what they actually lead off with. So we got Galvantula on Hippo. So that's an interesting lead from the Ducklet side. I think he was anticipating the Ninetales to come out first so that he can stop the hail immediately. So that could be that's a pretty good play. So from here, Hippowdon has a pretty good matchup. It's a larger type against a ground type. What do you expect? Because even if Galvantula has Energy Ball, unless it's like Specs or something, I don't think it will do too much to Hippowdon. Especially if this is like Spadef Hippowdon. So I would just get up Rocks turn 1. If you really don't like the webs coming up though, you can go immediately to Regieleki and spin them away. That's always an option. But yeah, so Galvantula and Hippo. In terms of what the Nevada Nihilegos should do, maybe you want to, switch. Or if you just want webs up to get up, right away, you can just put webs down. But I would anticipate that, eating an Earthquake and getting rocks up, especially for Hippowdon, is very important because the Alolan Ninetales is most likely not going to be running Boots. So Hail is going to be hard to keep up if the Hippowdon gets up rocks here. But I mean, it's going to get up rocks anyway now because Galvantula. This was just a bad lead in general. It's not a bad lead; it's a unfavorable lead. It's not the lead itself. The Galvantula lead by itself wasn't a bad choice. It just wasn't the right one in this scenario. So yeah. Anyway, so we're just gonna start. So I guess we are just gonna be trading hazards turn 1. Galvantula is going to lose its Sash if it had one, and then Mudsdale comes in on the Hippowdon. So yeah, as you can see here, the Mountain Nihilegos does not have any Earthquake resist, so this is going to be hard for him to switch in on. Even though Hippowdon is going to be mainly defensive, obviously it's just really hard to switch on, especially with rocks up and everything. So yeah, basically his only switch in is Mudsdale, and as you can see here, Mudsdale does not have the leftovers. So Mudsdale is going to come in. He's going to go for Heavy Slam right away on the Cradily switch in. That's pretty interesting. As it turns out, this Mudsdale is like a Assault Vest Mudsdale with max attack. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised he immediately went for Heavy Slam on the Hippowdon. Even if you were anticipating the Cradily switch, something else that could have come in was like Araquanid. So I'm kind of surprised that he went for Heavy Slam turn 1, but it worked out, and got massive damage on the Cradily, and he is going to pivot out to Galvantula on the Araquanid swap in. So pretty heads up play. As it turns out, you see that Galvantula is boots. It didn't take any hazard chip. So yeah. So yeah, this is looking okay for Mooney so far. I just clicked next turn. My bad. Yeah. So now he's just gonna drop the Raw Thunder, and well, it's not Raw Thunder. Compound Ice Thunder is 91% accurate, but anyway, he's just gonna drop the Thunder, and it immediately crits and kills the Rakuten. Now, I actually don't know if it killed. I'm willing to imagine it did not kill without the crit, because Rakuten has a lot of SPDEV. So this crit really, really sucks for the Depression Round Doublets. So yeah, eventually, I don't know. Rakuten goes down, Hippowdon comes back out. I think Hippowdon's probably just going to go for another Earthquake, or maybe a Toxic on the Mudsdale. He just goes, in fact, goes for the Earthquake. Mudsdale's going to Heavy Slam again, and, this time it does not work out. It only does, like, 20%, because, Hippowdon's pretty thick, unfortunately, for the Mudsdale. He's just going to go for, the Duckless is going to go for another Earthquake, putting Mudsdale super low, and now he's going to die to Rocks. He does go for the Body Press, but it's not going to do enough as Hippowdon takes it out. Yeah. Honestly, in the Nevada Nihilego perspective, like, it's hard, again, as I said before, hard to switch in on a Hippowdon because Earthquake is just going to be doing a lot of damage, and then you're going to be taking Sand Chip, you're going to be taking Stealth Rock Chip. So, yeah, Hippowdon actually looking pretty scary for the Nevada Nihilegos currently. Anyway, Ninetales comes in, it's going to take its first round of Rocks and set up the Hail. Gengar's going to come in on the swap, and we're going to see Ninetales probably set up Veil, and it does. So from here, Gengar can either just hit what's in front of it and go for Sludge Wave, or it can try to predict like the Sand Slash, because the obvious play here is to go for Sludge Wave to knock out the Ninetales, but maybe you want to go for the Focus Blast instead to try to kill the Sand Slash Alola and prevent it from doing any significant damage. We do see the Ninetales stay in and goes for a Blizzard, which is a pretty interesting choice, and Gengar does go for Focus Blast. So, yeah. I think that, damage on Gengar is good, but taking the damage with Ninetales, as I said before at the beginning of this video, like, you don't want to lose your Hail Setter. Because, there's a Hippowdon. You need to get rid of that thing, and then you want to have your Hail Setter alive later, so that you can set up Hail for a late game for your Alolan Sand Slash to sweep. So, and especially since the Rakuten died due to that Thunder crit, so, Alolan Sand Slash has a really, really good matchup here, especially if it has Swords Dance. Like, it gets up a Swords Dance, it literally just kills everything under Hail. But, taking this damage with Ninetales, I think, was not the best decision. Because, you do get Chip on Gengar, and that's great and all, but you need to keep your Ninetales alive, because otherwise, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose the Hippowdon's going to keep up Sand, and then, you can't sweep under Hail. So, yeah. To be fair, Nevada Nihilego does have webs, and his Sand Slash is not the only win condition on his team, but I just think, it was important to keep that Sand Slash, that Hail option as a thing. Because now Ninetales dies to 2 more Rock Switch-ins, and that's really not ideal. Anyway, moving on. So Hippowdon's gonna come in directly in because Ninetales does have its Blizzard disabled. Ninetales just goes for Encore. Again, I don't agree with staying in there, because if Gengar did stay in there and try to hit it again, Ninetales now dies to Rocks. Afterwards, so that's really, really not a good idea. So yeah. So anyway, we're gonna move on to the next turn. Galvantula coming in on Hippowdon, not a good idea. Hippowdon does go for the Slack Off, and I think he's just gonna go for the Earthquake next turn. Oh no, he's just gonna go straight to the Cradle Leaf. That's fine. Galvantula's just gonna go for the Bug Buzz and knock out the Cradle Leaf. All right. So if the Galvantula didn't click Energy Ball in this scenario, usually more often than not, that means that it does not have Energy Ball, because I guess if you really wanted to predict something else, like the Gengar who does resist Bug Buzz, you would click who resists Energy Ball, you would click Thunder. But yeah, so Hippowdon comes back in. Nihilegos realizes. I'm sorry, the Ducklets realize that Galvantula can't really touch it. Bug Buzz does meager 25%, and with the Earthquake plus Sand Chip, Galvantula is going to go down. Nihilego comes back in. Nice Hollow Knight reference, by the way. I see that. So the Nihilego does go for the Grass Knot. It does quite a bit of damage, but Hippowdon is going to tank it and immediately just destroy Nihilego with an Earthquake. Ninetales is going to come back in here, but all the Ducklets has to do is preserve its, they're going to preserve their Sand Setter, and now Ninetales loses the Weather War, because Paladin will come back in at some point, and Ninetales can't set up Hail anymore, and unless this Sand Slash has spin, he can't get rid of rocks, so that means, you're kind of screwed in that regard. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on. Regieleki is going to come in here, and they're probably going to go for spin to get rid of the webs, and they do. So now Regieleki is faster than the Sand Slash, assuming they run that a good amount of speed, but they're going to immediately switch out. But yeah, at this point, this is doomed. Unless the Sand Slash Alola has Rapid Spin, but I don't think it really had the space to fit that in its move pool, because I think you needed Icicle Crash or Triple Axle, Iron Head, Earthquake, which he does have, and then my last would probably be Swords Dance, just to boost. But you could, potentially you could put Rapid Spin on that last slot and then, do some things. But yeah, I don't think he has Spin. He goes for the Triple Axle. Obviously, it's going to kill Hippowdon unless he misses the second one, which he doesn't, thankfully. Darumby's going to come in here, and as you can see, Ninetales, it's dead. So, yeah. As the Darmanitan goes for a substitute, so it actually turns out that this Darmanitan Galar is not even Gorilla Tactics. It is a Zen mode Darmanitan with Belly Drum and Slack Berry. So that's pretty fun. Yeah, so I love that. I love that choice from the Ducklets. He goes for an Earthquake here. An interesting play. I wouldn't have gone for that myself personally, because you can just Belly Drum here. Unless you really were afraid of Triple Axle landing, like breaking through some. Actually, that's a good point. Maybe the Ducklets was afraid of like Triple Axle breaking through sub, and then with the Sand Chip, maybe, and after the Belly Drum, like maybe he'll die. I'm not sure, but if you Belly Drummed here and then the Sand Slash doesn't broke your sub but did not damage you, you would have the Select boost, you'd be in Zen mode, and you would definitely be able to kill the remaining 2 Mons on the bottom of Helloga's team with just, I'm assuming he has probably Icicle Crash and Earthquake, so yeah, you can definitely kill both of them with Earthquake, I would say. So yeah, I probably would have Belly Drummed there, but I guess I get the risk of, not wanting to risk maybe Triple Axle trying to break through the sub. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. You know what? Just let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. You guys can't see anything, but I'm just gonna look right now. So we know that the Sand Slash Alola doesn't have like Life Orb or anything. So yeah, let's put up Darmanitan, Galar. All right, so So Triple Axle was the only play there because Iron Head, Earthquake, while they would break the sub, they won't do any damage to Darmanitan. So actually, yes, Triple Axle does do. Well, it matters if the first 2 hits. How do I only get the first hit? Okay, wait. I'll just do Icicle Crash. So I'll just do Icicle Crash and set the first damage to base 20 power. So it would do 6 to 7 on the first hit, and then 40 on the next, which would be 20, 12 to 14. So yeah, unless the Sand Slash got crits with the first 2 hits, Triple Axle will not break the sub. The third hit will break the sub, but it won't hit Darmanitan. So going for Belly Drum here was actually the optimal play, because it ensured that not only would you be able to kill the Sand Slash next turn, you would also be able to at least have a shot of killing Gardevoir as well. I don't know if I probably doesn't live a +4 Earthquake, but +6 Earthquake, but yeah, probably should have done it. Because the reason why is because now, because Hyper Voice, and this is a Mega Gardevoir, so it's probably gonna have Pixelate Hyper Voice. Hyper Voice will go through sub because it's a sound-based move, and sound-based moves go through substitute, and Darmanitan would most likely die to that. So yeah, probably not. Probably would have should have just Belly Drum, but you know what? It's whatever. Because at this point, there shouldn't be any realistic way. Yeah, so as you can see, Hyper Voice will kill the Darmanitan, but there shouldn't be a realistic way where the Ducklets lose this game unless they don't have like Sludge Wave on their Gengar. So yeah, they're just gonna go Gengar, and then they're gonna click Sludge Wave, and that's just gonna be the game. Yeah, so if you did Belly Drum on that turn, that would have been a 3-0 instead of a 2-0, which is better for differential. But you know what? It's whatever. we don't have to worry about. So yeah, that's the first game. The Ducklets take their first victory with a 2-0. And now we're gonna move on to the next one. I need to change the. Yep, there we go. Okay, so this one is gonna be the Driftville Delibirds versus the Denver Diglets. So yeah, Driftville Delibirds is on the back face side, Denver Diglets on the other side. Yeah, okay. So let's go through this one. Actually, I only watched this for the purposes of recording the stats. I didn't really pay too much attention during this one, so this is going to be somewhat new of an experience for me. So let's see here. I think I'm going to do Denver's Diglett side because it's easier. I think that looking at the matchup, Mega Diancie looks really, really threatening. Just because, Rock Fairy against all of these monsters is going to be really good. And if it has Earth Power, definitely smacks Zergatry. Moonblast destroys Druddigon. If it has Mystical Fire, Delmai's not going to like it. Although I think Delmai's probably can take the Mystical Fire and then destroy the Diancie with Anchor Shot or whatever. But, Conkeler is not going to like Moonblast. Mega Gyarados is not going to like Rock. Not going to like a Diamond Storm. Celesteela does take the hit. So that's a bad matchup. So Diancie looks pretty good. I think it beats like 4 of the 6 for sure. And then Dragapult as well looks pretty good. Excuse me. Just because, Shadow Ball is spammable stab. It's really hard to not just, you just spam it really good. Draco Meteor is also pretty good here as well. And it's a stronger hit than Dragon Ball. Stronger hit than Shadow Ball, excuse me. But, of course, Celesteela does just Dragon. So, yeah, but again, Paul can just U-turn on a bad matchup, so it doesn't really matter that much. So I think Dragon Ball or Mega Diancie are the 2 first ones that come to mind. If Whimsicott has U-turn, that could also potentially be a fine lead. Because it does have Moonblast, it does threaten a good amount of things. Annabuzz also has U-turn. It's not okay. Well, I want to be clear that just because you have U-turn or flip turn or whatever does not mean you can always just lead it. But I think just Denver Diglets has a really good matchup here in general. Because I don't see the Driftville Delibirds having a good matchup against just these 2 monsters. It just looks really hard. Yeah. Let's just move on to the Driftville Delibirds themselves. So in terms of leads here, I would lead something that I would just probably lead Celesteela, honestly, because as I said before, I think Dragapult or Diancie has the best shots, are the best leads in this scenario for the Denver Diglets, and you're already kind of down in the sense that your matchup spread is not that good here. Because frankly, I think the Denver Diglets has a fine check for almost everything on this team besides the Zergatry. You could lead Zergatry if it's Scarf. Scarf Zergatry could do pretty well here. Because, Scarf Dazzling Gleam is going to do a good amount to Paul. You can Volt Switch out of everything else, or just Thunderbolt, stuff like a Recoil Round or whatever. So, yeah, Scarf, if it's Scarf, Zergatry looks pretty good. If it's not Scarf, I would lead Celesteela. Because, if it's not a defensive Celesteela, then I would. Yeah, if it's not defensive Celesteela and it's not Scarf Zergatry, I think I would just cry. But, okay, no, that's not true. But yeah, you would have significantly less leads here. But I'm pretty sure it is a defensive Celesteela if I remember correctly. So yeah, I think I just need Celesteela here. You have a good matchup against the 2 most likely leads from the Denver Diglets. And yeah. So, I don't know, let's just start. So we see a Druddigon lead against Dragapult. And yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. So as I said before, Pulp or Diancie was the most likely lead here. So now Zadash, I guess, it has to go on the immediate defensive and switch into these threatening ass mons. So Conkeler is going to come in as the Dragapult is going to go for Thunderbolt. So I think Denver does try to predict the Celesteela coming in here. So yeah, I think Shadow Ball was better overall though. Unless you're really scared of the Druddigon coming in which case you can just click Draco Meteor because it does do a good chunk to everything. But yeah, I think Shadow Ball or Shadow Ball or Draco Meteor was probably the better choice, and I'm pretty sure this is a choice specs Dragapult. So yeah. But yeah, he doesn't go for Thunderbolt. He tries to get that nice prediction. Unfortunately, it does not work out. But That's what I predict, boys. Okay, anyway, the Conkeldurr does reveal itself to be Flame Orb Guts, as the Whimsicott comes in on the knockoff. Does not going to be doing too much. It looks like a somewhat defensive Whimsicott, and the Whimsicott will just go straight for the Moonblast, and okay, Conkeldurr will just go down. So, if I was the Driftwood Littlebirds, switching out was probably the primary objective here. Grass Fairy against a fighting type, and it's faster. And if it has Moonblast, that's just not a good matchup in general. If this is the Conkeldurr set, I'm thinking it's probably just going to be knockoff, Facade, Close Combat / Drain Punch, and Mach Punch. So, unless you think you can tank that Moonblast and then kill this thing with Facade, I wouldn't stay in with Conkeldurr. I would have just pivoted out to Celesteela, especially since Whimsicott can't do much to Celesteela to begin with. The worst thing you could do is either Leech Seed it or Stun Spore it. But if this is a defensive Celesteela, Leech Seed isn't that great, but you can get over it. And then Stun Spore, doesn't matter too much with the defensive bond. The only real danger it presents is the chance of full paralysis. But yeah. Anyway, Celesteela is just gonna come out here. Also, I just realized he named all these Pikachu. Okay, so they're all different variants of Pikachu. Source, trust me. Okay, so Whimsicott is going to U-turn out of the Celesteela as the Celesteela goes for the Heavy Slam on the Vaporeon. Probably just going to see a Scald thrown off here on the... Yep, he just goes go for Scald, trying to get a burn. Does not get it, but he gets some good damage on Circuitry. Bronzong is going to come out here on the Thunderbolt, looking like it's not doing much at all. Looks like a fully Spadef Bronzong. Bronzong is going to go for the Earthquake, just to see if the Circuitry stays in. He does not. He does go Celesteela here. Cool. We're going to see another switch back into Vaporeon. Yeah, so Celesteela does kind of get walled by Bulky Waters, unless you go for Leech Seed and try to protect stall them. But, Vaporeon has Wish. It's going to be sticking around for a while. So Celesteela doesn't really have a good matchup against Vaporeon at all. But it could have Energy Ball, Seed Bomb, but he hasn't gone for it yet, so I don't think he has it. But again, okay, if it does have Seed Bomb / Energy Ball, I think it gets Energy Ball. But yeah, if he does have a grass coverage move, he's not actually in a good position to use them yet. Just because you need to get Chip on the Vaporeon first in order for it to actually kill reasonably. So yeah, and I'm just gonna go for the Flamethrower. Gonna see Protect here on the Toxic. Looks like Denver Dickless was trying to predict something. Probably the Delmise, if I was gonna guess. Or maybe probably not the Gyarados. But yeah, Delmise probably. So yeah, we're gonna see the Scald. Not gonna do much, but then again, the Celesteela isn't doing much either. I think Zan is pressured to switch first just because he doesn't want to take that burn with Celesteela. He does indeed try to go to Druddigon here. Scald comes out again, and we still don't see a burn. That's the third Scald in a row. We do see the Toxic on the Druddigon as the Druddigon gets up Stealth Rocks. Let's see, he's just gonna keep clicking Scald. He doesn't have a reason to switch. Alright, and then Druddigon is gonna go for the Dragon Kill to drag out the Mandibuzz. Alright. So we're just going to see the Mandibuzz just defog, and then the Druddigon does go for the Glare to paralyze the Mandibuzz. Alright, we're going to see a Circuitry pivot as the Mandibuzz goes for a Roost, and then we're going to see Bronzong coming again on the Dazzling Gleam. So I guess this is probably just if he goes to Dragapult or Whimsicott, Dazzling Gleam does do more than Thunderbolt, but this time the Bronzong switch-in works out for the Denver Diglets. Are we going to see another Earthquake or maybe a Rocks? We are going to see a Body Press. Okay, none of the above. Rocks could probably be on Diancie too, so it doesn't have to be the Bronzong. Also, I just realized the naming scheme of this team is the Mario movie. It's all the characters that are in the movie, I think. So, except I don't think Seth Rogen was revealed for. Okay, anyway, moving on. Vaporeon is going to come out here on the Flamethrower again. Yeah, so this Vaporeon is really, really putting Zan putting Zadash in a bad spot. Yeah. this Druddigon is already going to die. Mandibuzz is going to come out here on the Glare, making sure that he doesn't get paralyzed. Good move on the Denver Diglets. Although, yeah, I think Druddigon also probably came out. The Mandibuzz also probably came out trying to defog the Rocks immediately. I don't know. Anyway, Excuse me. Anyway, the Gyarados comes out here. Probably should have gone to Xurkitree and clicked Volt Switch, though, personally. But, that's fine. The Gyarados is going to come out. He's going to go straight for the Dragon Dance as the Manabuzz is going to go for the Foul Play. It's looking like a 3-hit KO as the Gyarados goes for the Ice Vein. Turns out that this Manabuzz is Rocky Helmet, and that with the Rocky Helmet chip, Foul Play will knock out the Gyarados. Yeah, alright, we got the Rocky Helmet tech. Alright, so now Delmise is going to go in here, try to kill the Manabuzz with Ink Shots. No dice. Foul Play is just going to knock out this Delmise. So Manabuzz is having a blast right now. Again, Celesteela is not going to be doing anything to this Vaporeon. And yeah, this is looking like a bad. Yep, and the burn comes out with Scald. Yeah, this is not looking good for the Drifbell Delibirds. Not a single mon has dropped so far on the Denver Diglett side. Heavy Slam is going to come out on the Bronzong switch, which isn't really necessary. Well, you just want to get rid of Leech Seed, that's fair. You're going to go back into Pulse on the Leech Seed. So this Celesteela is trying to make this comeback on its own. Thunderbolt's going to come out. It does 70% to the Celesteela as the Heavy Slam comes out, but since his burn is not going to be doing much at all, he is getting recovery back from Leech Seed. Going to go for the Protect. Thunderbolt. He goes for the Double Protect and gets it. Alright. So we see the Dragon Ball getting chipped. I would honestly just keep spamming like Thunderbolt. Yeah, okay, he does go for Thunderbolt. With the Leech Seed recovery though, Xurkitree will take the second one. So Winscott does come out on the Dazzling Gleam. Looks like it's going to be 2K on the Whimsicott. Dazzling Gleam comes out again on the Mega Diancie. And Xurkitree was Scarf, as it turns out, but it's not going to knock out the Mega Diancie, and Mega Diancie is going to take the Xurkitree with Diamond Storm. The Celesteela comes out. Diamond Storm is not going to knock it out, but at this point it is too little too late. The Celesteela is going to not be able to take on 5 members of a 6-man squad at 11%. So that looks like going to be a 5-0 victory for the Denver Diglets. Alright, so in terms of what could have been done better, I don't know. You honestly just... Drifbell Delibirds honestly just had a pretty bad matchup from this. I don't... From what I remember of his team, I don't think he had a really good answer for Dragon Ball. He didn't really have a good answer for Mega Diancie. So these things were going to be just rough for him to deal with from the get-go. So, yeah, just kind of rough. And then, I guess, more pivots to Celesteela was probably... Yeah, I think this matchup, you just kind of had to abuse Celesteela as much as you could. But Vaporeon was proving to be very annoying. So, yeah. I guess probably... Maybe you should have used Delmise more, honestly. Because Delmise has a pretty good matchup here. If it's like Choice Band or whatever, just going for like... Choice Band, like Poltergeist or whatever, that could have been pretty good. And if you got up like Rocks... Oh, he doesn't... Yeah, if you got up Rocks like Strategon, then you went to like... Delmise for the like Choice Band Poltergeist. That was kind of... Be able to break through the defensive core a little bit, but at least help a little bit. But yeah. Yeah. That Mega Gyarados definitely got cucked by that Manabuzz though. But yeah. Alright, I think that is good enough for this video. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe. Okay, no, you don't have to, but yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.